Right, hi everyone, and welcome to Hong Kong. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. It's currently just gone nearly 6:30 here on a Thursday afternoon. I just want to give you a perspective of what's going on here in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a city, a bit about the region, but also then a change of lane a bit from our earlier presentations about more about what's going on in our school. So as Mark, here we go. It's not changing slide. Let me escape. There. So my name's Tim. Okay, I'm based at Stanford American School, Hong Kong. And I'm going to try and escape out of here and start it again for you. Yep, so my name's Tim. I'm based in Hong Kong, but I'm originally from Wales. Okay, I would say Oggy, and that's what we say up here, Brett, with the same response. I was a ICT teacher for 3 years in Wales. We're going back a few years now, but it was traditional, the ICT that we would have had, and the majority of us when we were actually in school. Nothing much changed from when I first started teaching. I then moved to Spain for 6 years, where I was an NYP digital design teacher. Absolutely loved it, loved the country so much that I found myself a wife. And then we decided 4 years ago to actually make a change. And then great opportunity came up in Hong Kong at a school as an educational technology coordinator. So I jumped at that. Just to put a bit of context in, so here's some information about Hong Kong itself, okay, and what I'm having to deal with and what we're dealing with when it comes to technology and innovation here. So Hong Kong's got the second fastest internet in the world. Okay, so online learning, it was absolutely great for us, a second behind Singapore. 90% then of the city itself, the country itself, has got 5G coverage, okay, which obviously supports as well. 88% of homes then have broadband access, so we never had that issue with any of our students. Okay, we were always able to connect with them, and we're not just talking students, also as staff as well when they were working from home. We're the 8th most technologically advanced country. Okay, this is things when it comes to public transport, when it comes to payment, all this kind of thing is a lot different, especially from when I was back in Spain, let alone rural Wales. And then I thought an interesting point there is the second most sold mobile devices are sold as a country is here in Hong Kong, okay, which goes to show the importance people put on technology, okay, and innovation in general. So I mentioned my role. So this is where I'm working, Stanford American School. Again, just to give a bit of context on some stuff that I will share with you in a bit. So it's a brand new school that opened in 2017. I was part of the founding faculty and staff, something that it's been an absolutely amazing experience. If anyone ever gets that opportunity, I would jump at it. We're currently K-10, but we'll grow to K-12. In our department, Edtech, it was absolutely amazing because there was no precedent. How many of us have had to deal with technology that, or even routines that have been in place for years, and it's the idea of, oh, this is what we do. Well, we had the opportunity to actually create what we do and that culture of what we do. Okay, as a school, we're predominantly Apple driven in the sense that our primary elementary school is one-to-one iPad. Secondary, middle and high school is one-to-one MacBook Air. But I just wanted to share there that we're trialing iPad Pro with keyboard and pencil in grade 6, our year 7. And at the moment, it's great success. The actual creativity and the power of an iPad Pro with the camera, with the pencil, with the drawing and everything is almost taking learning to another level. So this could be something that we look to grade 6 take on to grade 7 and grade 8, at least in middle school, until the actual students decide on specific and they start making more electives, where we would look then for a more personalized device depending on what they're doing. Platform wise then, we're Seesaw, Google Classroom in primary, elementary, and then we've just made a move over just before the pandemic to Microsoft Teams. Something we wanted to look at. Just at the time, we did feel it was more suitable for secondary students. Okay. Department-wise is myself, and then we have one EdTech coach and myself. And then what we've done then, we have what we call digital pioneers. So I'll explain a little bit about how it works, but it's the idea then of each department, each grade, each year group has one digital pioneer, and that's the person then that I will meet the most. We will discuss what they're actually working on, and we will collaborate closer than we would with say a normal teacher then. So what we do, so traditionally ICT skills were taught, okay, we all recognize that kind of room. We've all been there. And even when I was in school, that would be a state-of-the-art ICT room. I've seen ones that were not even as state-of-the-art as that. And ICT was taught by an ICT teacher, but we've looked to change that. Okay, we've looked to change that from the very beginning. We've changed that model where we are now wanting to teach teachers rather than teach students. Okay, nearly every subject, especially in the last 12 months, has some sort of technology in there, doesn't it? So the idea of a student now going off to a standalone room to learn ICT skills is long gone. So we're looking now to teach teachers. We want to teach them how to use specific tools. One, it's more sustainable. Okay, they are then being able to, and they gather confidence, and they know how and what they want the students' outcomes, so they could actually look at the technology even better. So it's that idea of the culture of investing people over your tools. I'll say this, and I'll preach about this. The idea, again, your most valuable resource is your people. Okay, you could have all the technology in the world, all the platforms in the world, but if you haven't got the people and that culture of using technology meaningfully, then that technology then is worth the box it's coming. So what are we doing? So we look to provide curriculum support. I will meet teams and groups and everything weekly to see what they're doing. Sometimes it's a 15-minute informal chat. Okay, we've definitely got that culture of we're all there to support each other. Okay, we want as many conversations as possible. Okay, Mark put in the chat earlier about relationships. Relationships are absolutely massive, and Rose mentioned as well about the government and everything. The whole community now needs to communicate more. So what we look to do, we look to see what they're doing. What's the topic? What's your unit? And then we will look to see what technology could potentially support that. And then the teachers may think, yes, this will work, this won't work, and then we will look to develop their skills. This is a model then that grows in the sense that we may need to support a teacher a lot during term one with virtual reality tools. However, the following year, we won't need to support them as much because they would have used it, they would have built confidence, then they will actually drive that themselves then. And we do this with the whole community, okay? Again, I mentioned it about relationships. For us, we have this triangle of the school, the student, and the home. And we really, really have to work together with not one side being bigger than the other. And we want parents, and this was before the pandemic. So we really try and chat with them, get them in where possible, have webinars, have sessions, have leaflets, have videos, have newsletters, all of this to try and support our parents. I won't go into it too much now, but I'm passionate about digital citizenship now, and as educators, there's a definite responsibility now where we have to step up and ensure the youngsters in our care are better digital citizens. So what are we doing? We explore technologies. Okay, we don't want people to be scared of using a technology. We want that culture of taking a risk. I'm going to go through all those 21st century skills that we want students to have, while also as educators. Okay, we have to lead by example. Okay, and I put that sharing the journey there, is that we want that collaboration. Okay, a number of our teachers then are certified. Proud to say all our teachers are Apple Teachers certified as well, which makes using iPads and MacBooks a whole lot easier. Quick touch on COVID and what happened. So we closed over a year ago. It was a year ago last week. And we're like, where did that year go? But it was tech-wise, it was real opportunity, and education in general, because it was almost like we had to reflect on what we're doing. We had to reflect on how we're doing it. And then as a tech coordinator, we just looked at the technology that we're using. And in the end, we ended up streamlining. We actually pulled some of the technology away, pulled some of the platforms away, because we realized it was potentially overcomplicating people who were at home. All of a sudden, parents were teaching assistants, which then we realized we've got this password to manage. You need to go on this link. We're using this in the browser. We're using this in the app. All this then, again, is confusing. So we just looked, I mean, without going into too much detail, we wanted as much as we could that could go through Google Classroom, that could go through Seesaw or Microsoft Teams. So that student in the morning would go to Microsoft Teams, or they would go to Google Classroom, and everything is within there. And if possible, then we'd use
30 seconds left, Tim.
Okay, I'm going to absolutely fly through this. Lots of communication I mentioned there. We've got a lot going on in Hong Kong. The schools are really collaborative. People come together. It's that idea of learning together stronger, everything. So there's a great support network there. Number of small startups then that we actually reach out to. Okay, I'll share this on Twitter so you can actually see, and you can ask any more things there. But that idea that we reach out to people come to connect with us. So there are experts out there who know much more about coding than me. We reach out to them and they look to support our students. Okay, apologies for the rush there right at the end. I probably needed another minute, and that was my issue sharing the screen, so I lost a minute there. But again, I hope this finds everyone well. If you want to connect, find me on Twitter there. I'll happily share this presentation with you. And I hope everyone's well.